It's August, and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, news, shoes, and oh, Canada. Welcome to the August edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. We've put out the call for makers for the Maker Fair, scheduled for October 17th. There's a medieval theme this year, so we're especially looking for blacksmiths, spinners, weavers, even jousting robots. We're also going to focus on citizen reporting with storytelling in your community. A panel of experts from Gulf States newsrooms and WRKF will share insights on podcasting, production, storytelling techniques, and tips of the trade. Library staff will also showcase the kinds of audio recording equipment and technology that are freely available in the library's 5 maker spaces. Louisiana's Poet Laureate, Gina Ferrara, joins us for an evening of poetry, and Jonathan Earl, LSU professor and author of He Has the People, discusses Abe Lincoln's winning political campaign in 1860. Find out all about these and other free programs in this month's issue of The Source, available in print and online at ebrpl.com. We fill many information requests from our subscriptions to national and international news platforms, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, but there's just no replacement for local news. Let's find out more in the digital download.
As part of our collection of online genealogy resources, we now have newspapers.com Southeast Edition. This provides access to newspapers from the Southeast United States, including over 3,000 historical and recent newspapers. These publications cover Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. All you need to access these collections is your library card. Newspapers.com offers full-page images with searchable full text of newspapers dating from the early 1700s into the present day. You see the newspapers as they were originally printed, including the advertisements. This resource is invaluable for researchers, historians, genealogists, educators, and students, especially so if your family tree touches smaller cities and towns. Newspapers.com offers access to hundreds of local Louisiana newspapers, covering titles from Bunkie to Thibodaux and across the state. It includes 31 historical Baton Rouge and 123 historical New Orleans publications. Popular searches include marriage and birth announcements, social events, obituaries, local sports, and of course news. Check out our other genealogy resources and classes from the Special Collections Department at the Main Library at Goodwood. You can find more genealogy resources online at ebrpl.com.
Newspapers.com is such a valuable resource, along with the digital platforms hosting the Historical Advocate, the Times-Picayune, and even Gree. We are proud to make these tools available to our patrons. I especially love that you can see the entire page, including the way the paper's publishers printed the headlines and the ads. It really takes you there. Let's shift gears now and go beyond the stacks.
My name is Misha. I am one of the co-founders of this event that we're having today. It's the Baton Rouge Sneaker Festival. The Baton Rouge Sneaker Festival is an event, an annual event that happens every year. It celebrates the culture of sneakers, okay? Other than that, it is about community, culture, entertainment, fashion, all the things that make Baton Rouge great, and we're just trying to add to it. You know, I just want Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. Come support something great. Come support something amazing. We want to keep things like this going. A lot of people say, oh, Baton Rouge, whatever. But when you support events, and not just the Baton Rouge Sneaker Fest, but all the festivals and events that go on, we need y'all support. Okay, we need y'all. Okay, we need the people to come out. And so I think that's the most important thing that we've been trying to do is to get it aware. We've been on Fox, we've been on Louisiana First News, we've been on WAFB, we've also been on Cumulus Media. So just touching all of those areas so the people know, okay? First of all, sneakers are such a simple piece. You could be a runner. You could be a track star. You could, you could be a shoe. You need shoes, number one. You need shoes. And so just because it's a small but important part, you can build around it. And that's what makes this event as great as it is, because we're building pieces on top of it. Everybody loves kicks. Everybody loves shoes. So that's what makes it as wonderful as it is, because you can pile on, build on, all these things. Today we have over 40 vendors, a combination of food, a combination of sneaker apparel, just people who build their brand around fashion and culture. The library has been very accommodating, easy to work with, and one of the things that we've had a previous event at the River Center Library, and so each time they provide a nice space for the community. Isn't it for the community, right? For the community to come together. And so they have been great advertising. They have been pushing, just no hesitation. And so when I think of collaborating with a business or with someone who is a part of Baton Rouge, that's what, come on.
Sneakers are more than just shoes. For a lot of people, they're a form of self-expression and a way to connect with others who share the same passion. That's exactly what happened at the Baton Rouge Sneaker Fest, where sneakerheads from all over came together to show off their collections and celebrate the culture. A local DJ kicked it into high gear and kept the energy up, and we saw vendors with one-of-a-kind merch, tasted food, and of course, there were wall-to-wall speakers. From rare collector's pieces to everyday favorites, the Baton Rouge Sneaker Fest proved that sneaker culture is about more than just the shoes. It's about community. Stay right there. After the break, Brandon Riley joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that supporting the education of students is good for us all. That's why we make available free test preparation tools through Learning Express and Mometrics, plus reference tools for all ages. Get a library card.
You're watching the August edition of the Library Roadshow. Everything you need to know about your local library system. It's hard to believe that 10 years ago, the entire capital region was inundated with so much rain that rivers and bayous overflowed, resulting in the Great Flood of 2016. Brandon, why is it important to commemorate this experience, which caused so much disruption and changed so many people's lives? Because some people would rather forget all about it.
Some people would rather forget all about it. So many people were affected by it that it is such an overarching event in our community that even though it was painful and traumatic and has changed the course of East Baton Rouge Parish and the surrounding capital region, it's important. It needs to be recognized, and we believe that there are lots of stories that are untold that we think people
and many of them are positive stories.
They are very positive stories.
Right.
And we've spoken to many of those people so far. Our first event that we're going to use in our commemoration week is actually inviting people to come and listen to some of the recorded stories, the oral histories we've collected this summer, and which we'll continue to collect. We've collected over a dozen of them at this point, and we have many, many more to get to. Very emotional, stirring, heroic tellings. And one thing that has come through in almost every story is the power of community, the healing power of community, the finding friends where you didn't think you had friends, and finding help where you didn't
and how
expect
kind
help.
And patient people were. I know here in the library system, 1/3 of our staff were affected with flooding. They lost their cars, they had to redo their houses, they had to find places for their kids to be and figure out how to get them to school when they weren't living where they belonged. And then there's the rebuilding process. And then, of course, the library itself was an anchor for community helpers with everyone here from the Blue Roof people and the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA and SBA,
yes.
all the helpers were here. So let's talk about that programming arc for the Week of Remembrance.
Well,
It's on the cover of the newsletter, I'll tell you.
So Monday, August the 10th, we're going to start off with an invitation to people who participated in the Oral History Project to come and listen to some of the histories. Sign up if you haven't already to come and give your interview. And then after that, the next day after that, we have an interesting program. It's sort of tangentially related. Mount Zion's going to be here to talk about their history in the community for the past 250 years. That's a really wonderful program. But then Wednesday, we will have EBR GIS here, and they're going to talk to people about what the maps mean. What does this information mean? How are your flood maps determined? What's been going on with developments and drainage and things like that in graphical and analyzable and measurable ways? So that should be a really interesting talk.
A picture does tell 1,000 words with that.
It certainly does. On Thursday, the Federation will be here.
Federation of Greater Baton Rouge Civic Associations,
Yes.
wonderful partners for all the helpers in the region.
So they're going to be here with their Stormwater Summit, their second one, I believe. And what they do is they bring together planners, leaders, and they talk about what is East Baton Rouge Parish, what is the Amite River Basin Committee doing to improve drainage through the area.
And you have to think about it in a broad terms because there's no fence between our parish and anybody else's parish where the water stops and goes.
So that's the technical stuff. On Friday, we're going to pull back a little bit. We're going to have a labyrinth walk.
I love
Have a
that.
guided labyrinth walk here at the main library. I know at Greenville Springs Road, they also have a person during the week who's going to come in. It's a National Weather Service employee. He's going to talk about how they talk about the weather, how they analyze the weather, where they get their data from. So that should be a good talk too. Then Saturday is when we pull out all the stops. On Saturday, the Cajun Navy is going to be here.
All right.
MOSEP is going to be here. Alex Baxt, who runs a tree service locally, is going to talk to people about getting their trees ready for storms.
Preventively, right?
Preventively, yes.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful guy, and then the sort of capstone to all of this, will be a talk with Dr. Katie Cherry, who has convened a panel of experts to talk about what it means to recover from disasters.
Resilience. She's been studying resilience since Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, and she's been basing some of her focus groups out of the library system. So
Absolutely.
we have decades of work with Dr. Cherry, and we're so excited to see some of the research helping strategies because things happen. And how we respond to them is what we can control.
Exactly.
So where do people find out more about these programs?
Well, of course, you can read the source. If you go to our website, ebrpl.com, go to events, search for Week of Remembrance. They're all tagged with Week of Remembrance.
Okay.
Nothing requires sign up.
That's great. So no registration required. Just come and then sample and then get on with your lives. All right. Well, thanks, Brandon. There is still a lot to mentally and emotionally unpack, even 10 years later. So thank you for putting this together. It's important. After the break, author Joy Jones joins us for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow. Stay with us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the August edition of the Library Roadshow. Today, we're delighted to welcome award-winning author Joy Jones, whose children's book, The Sky is Not Blue, reminds us that sometimes seeing the world differently is a gift. Through the story of Robert, a young boy with an artist's eye and the confidence to trust what he sees, this book explores creativity, imagination, and the value of thinking for yourself. It also offers a gentle reminder that learning is a two-way street and that teachers can sometimes learn just as much from their students. Joy, welcome to the show. How'd you get your start as an author?
I have always wanted to be a writer. In elementary school, I loved reading, and the thought of being someone who could create stories, that would be wonderful. So I loved both the printed page and the spoken word. And by third grade, I knew I wanted to be an author too.
What is your book really about?
My book, The Sky is Not Blue, is about a little boy who challenges his teacher and helps her to discover her own creativity. She's very strict and proper and black and white in her thinking, but he shows her that the sky is more than just blue. It has so many variations, and if you look at it carefully, you see the sky is not blue, it's more than blue. That's what my book, The Sky is Not Blue, is about.
What inspired you to write this book?
I was inspired to write this story when I was at an artist colony. It's called Malay Arts, and it's in upstate New York. It's far away from civilization, no cell phone service, remote wooded area. And every day I would take a walk through those woods. And that's when I really became struck with how beautiful, how changing, how awesome the sky is. It's really more than just blue. The story came to me almost whole, and I published it with very few edits or revisions.
What advice would you give to an aspiring author?
Advice I would give to aspiring authors, grow a thick skin, but keep your heart open. You need the thick skin because rejection is a big part of being a writer, and that's just the way it is. And writing is work. Yes, we get inspired. Yes, we write beautiful stories, but it's also the drudgery of sitting in front of a blank page or a blank screen, being indoors writing when other people are out and about in the world. And, it's part of the package. And you need to keep your heart open because you need that optimism. You need that observant eye. You need to engage with the world so you have something of value to write about. So nose to the grindstone, heart wide open. That's my advice to aspiring authors.
Where can our viewers learn more about you and your work?
If you want to learn more about me, Joy Jones, please visit my website. I'm at joyjonesonline.com. I have a presence on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I hope you read one of my books sometime soon. I'm the author of books not just for children, but also for adults. Looking forward to connecting to you on the printed page sometime very soon.
Thanks, Joy, for joining us. You can check out The Sky is Not Blue at your local library or borrow it digitally through Libby. Now, if you've ever dreamed of making your own film or just love everything about the movies, the library has something for you. The Baton Rouge Underground Film Festival recently hosted a filmmaker forum at the main library at Goodwood, bringing together local filmmakers, actors, writers, and film enthusiasts to network and learn from one another. A panel of industry professionals shared their insight on the current state of film and how to get more involved in the craft. Let's take a look.
My name is Joe Carlton. I'm one of the co-founders and the financial director for the Baton Rouge Underground Film Festival. We're at the East Baton Rouge Public Library main library off of Goodwood, and we're doing a filmmaker forum today. So the Filmmaker Forum that we're doing today, presented by the Baton Rouge Underground Film Festival, is kind of an opportunity for people to come to a satellite event before the film festival to meet some industry professionals and hear about how they got into the industry and their advice, for people that, want to know what's going on in Baton Rouge and Louisiana at large and where the film industry is headed and what they can, expect to see from a career in film.
Hi, my name is Devin Bordelon, and at the moment I'm an associate producer on some independent films being shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For the newcomers, hopefully they can get some type of information to get their foot in the door. Hopefully they can get some type of connection, or, I mean, for me, I started out as a PA and it was just off of knowing someone. So hopefully they can find that person today and they call and need help and they just keep stringing it along. What I gain personally is getting out of my comfort zone and speaking publicly, but also I also get an opportunity to meet people that I'm not familiar with that are in the film industry as well. So, and reunite with some people that I've worked with. But the importance for other people, I think, is still just going to be like getting their foot in the door and making their face familiar so that people keep wanting to have you on set. You might as well try and grow this industry. And there's enough people that want to do it that just aren't as educated in how to do it. Some people think you have to go to school. Some people know that you don't, but you can do it both ways and it still make it work.
You know, the big takeaway from this event is to get at least one piece of information that helps you further your filmmaking career, whether that's meeting a new person or just hearing about an experience. And then I also want people to see, you know, what it could be like to network at the film festival, right? If you can come to the library and see a panel and, you know, get to meet somebody new, imagine what happens when you go to the Baton Rouge Underground Film Festival where there's hundreds of filmmakers each day that you could run into, you know.
I ended up going to LSU for film, and then I met some people. Maya Wiseman, great Maya. Because of her, I was able to get on to Beware the Box Folk, which is one of the big underground film festival movies that was played last year, and that was my first ever feature. And from that film, I've been able to just make connections to go from one project to the next, and we're still here. We're still making movies. It's awesome.
The Baton Rouge Underground Film Festival, it's going to be August 27th through August 30th this year. It's a Thursday to a Sunday, 4-day event where we're going to have screenings, panels with industry professionals, hands-on workshops with industry professionals. We're going to have an arts market. We're going to have some parties to celebrate, an award show. It's a full celebration of filmmaking, especially the weird filmmaking that takes place in Louisiana and also the rest of the world.
Whether you're just starting out or already making movies in the industry, events like the BRUFF Filmmaker Forum are a reminder that Baton Rouge has no shortage of creative talent. If you missed this one, keep an eye out for the next forum and come make some connections of your own. And of course, don't forget that the library has a robust collection of films and documentaries on DVD and Blu-ray formats, as well as streaming in Canopy and IndieFlix in our digital library, plus online learning courses that cover all aspects of the film industry. All you need is that EBRPL library card. Stay right there. You're watching the Library Roadshow.
Knowing where you come from is good for us all. That's why we grant free access to genealogy resources available through Ancestry.com. Make the vast historic resources of Heritage Quest available to you online. Get a library card.
You're watching the August edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Tracing your family tree can feel overwhelming, but the library is here to help. The main library at Goodwood recently hosted Your Canadian Heritage Journey, a free genealogy workshop for anyone looking to trace their Canadian ancestry. Participants learned how to navigate historical records, military documents, immigration archives, and birth and marriage records using free library databases. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is David Lotch, and I am the genealogy librarian here at the East Baton Rouge Parish Public Library. I became the genealogy librarian pretty much by mistake. They had a position open and I wanted a new position, and so I just sort of fell into that. And then when I started doing my genealogical research as a way of becoming a better genealogist, I became very aware of your family history and how that makes you you. So I've been then exploring that in my own family history and then trying to make it easier and better for other people to also have that experience. So I've been working with trying to get our collections out there, try to get our name out there, try to make people aware of what it is we can and do every day. Well, today we're sitting in the main conference room of the library, we've just finished a conference that we held on acquiring Canadian citizenship under the new Canadian law and how to determine your Canadian ancestry and find your Canadian ancestors. The main takeaway that I'm hoping they're getting as a genealogy librarian is knowledge of the availability of resources and developing strategies to locate the resources and the information that they're looking for. The most important thing you could do would be to come up to the department with any information you have on your family and sit down with one of us for about an hour and just talk about what resources are available, how to use them, and how we get started. Well, first of all, it's just important to know where you came from, to know your ancestry, know your history, know who are the people who made you you. If nothing else. But also, it is a service to the community because there is a huge interest in the new laws, and we have this connection with Canada here in Louisiana, so that Louisianans now can, I guess, get back in touch. Ones especially who were forcefully expelled from Canada can now get back in touch and then regain what was taken from their ancestors. This sort of information actually, well, first of all, as information professionals, our job is to get the information from all the various sources where it is and bring it in one place and make it available. But second of all, these services, if you were to do them yourself, if you were to hire somebody to do this, would run tens, hundreds, even hundreds of dollars an hour. And we're sitting here doing it for essentially free. So, come here first. If you're at home right now, go to our website, ebrpl.com. That's East Baton Rouge Parish Library, EBRPL. And there's under the heading departments, there is one for special collections. We're located there. And of course, anytime the library is open, you're welcome to just come in and have a look and talk to us and see what we have available.
This program was such a hit that it was professionally recorded, streamed out, and was even viewed during watch parties in other libraries around the state. That recording is now archived on the library's YouTube channel. We followed it up with Stories from the Courthouse Basement, our annual genealogy symposium, which took place on August 1st. So whether your roots go back generations or you're just starting to dig into your family history, workshops like this one show how much the library has to offer beyond the bookshelves. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl. Did you make your own flood storybook, photo album, or scrapbook? Would you like to share? That's facebook.com/ebrpl, and while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow next month? We'll dig in for back to school, plus tell you about the author-illustrator program featuring Caldecott Honor winner David Ezra Stein, best known for his wacky Interrupting Chicken series. Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow, and remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 15 branches. Plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.